quick-ish thing. You can do it. It only takes a couple of minutes. This is brochette. Lots of ways to do this. I've seen so many variations on this. We're going to have some fun with it. It's a simple thing. You want to cut your bread like this. It's very simple. I use that bread knife that I told you about in the tools segment. And you just kind of cut some bread like this. It's very simple. Now I'm also going to take a little bit of my butter. This one I am going to use butter with it. I'm going to put it in my pan. I'm going to just start that. And I'm going to put my bread in there in a moment. I'm also going to use a little bit of the Sogno Toscano garlic. Now this garlic is actually whole garlic pressed with the olives. I've mentioned that before. That's really great. This is going to put a little bit of garlic flavor in the bread. So I'm going to put that in my pan right there along with my butter. I'm going to put just a touch of basil, just a touch of basil in the pan with this. And I've got that cooking. Very, very simple here. Now I'm going to mix that around a little bit so that the butter, the oil all mixes up, gives it a nice texture. And very simply, this is not complicated, I'm just going to lay my pieces right here in the pan so that it all fits nicely and let it absorb some of that oil and the butter and that rich flavor. This is so much fun. Now this is something that your guests are going to absolutely love. It's very simple to do. Doesn't take much effort. Now I'm going to take 1 second here and I'm going to get rid of my breadcrumbs. Here we go. And I'm going to show you a trick on your tomatoes. Now the brochette portion of this, I'm going to get that cooking. The brochette portion of this is very simple, the actual tomatoes. I'm going to cut off the end of the tomato and this end of the tomato. I'm going to set those aside for just a second, and then I'm going to put my tomato vertical. The reason I do this is I want to cut through the meat of the tomato and not the skin. Depends on your knife. If you've got a real sharp knife, it's not a big deal. But I want to get real nice, clean little diced tomato out of this, and I can do this without crushing the tomato, even if the tomato is kind of soft. So I'm just going to cut right through there like this. And cut these little pieces, and I'm going to lay the end piece so that the skin is down, and I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them into little pieces. It's so simple. It only takes you a minute to do. Doesn't have to be complicated. And I'm going to do nice square little diced pieces of tomato that don't get crushed and it's all juice, and you can't identify the fact that it's really fresh tomato. It's a very simple thing to do. And I'm also going to do the same thing with my onions. Something very similar to this with my onions. Doesn't take much. This is a very simple thing. You can take your onion, and I usually set my onion up after I peel it. I set my onion up in halves like this, because you can do anything with it from here. I'm going to cut it up so that I want, in my bruschetta, I don't want the onion to dominate. I want just a nice flavor of onion, and so I'm going to have small pieces. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut very small little wedges here. It's very simple. Just got very small little wedges, and it doesn't take much. Okay, I just want that nice onion flavor of a sweet onion. Now I'm going to take this that I've cut those, and this is very simple. I'm just going to take it as small as I want. I can kind of mince my onions this way, and it comes out really great. If I want bigger chunks for some other meal, well, certainly you can just cut bigger chunks. It's not a big deal. Now with that, very simple, I'm going to mix this with my tomatoes. And then I'm going to put my flavors together. Okay? You're going to love this. You're absolutely going to love this. All right, now we've got our tomatoes are all diced and our onions are diced. You see I've got a nice mixture there. It's really great. I've got my little toast pieces, and this is very simple. Those are going to be done in a matter of a couple of minutes. Though I'm going to add the magic. I'm going to use just a little bit of garlic. Now this does not take any kind of precise measurement. You're going to kind of guess at it a little bit and put just a little bit of garlic in there. I don't want a lot. Just a little bit of garlic. This is amazing. The richness of this, the flavor of it is extraordinary. We're going to get a little bit inventive here. I'm going to use a little bit of lemon. Now this is Amalfi lemons, whole pressed lemons, sliced in half and pressed with the olives. So it's a really rich in flavor. And it doesn't take much. And I want you to watch how much I use here. Because I just want a hint of lemon. And this kind of gives our bruschetta just a little bit different touch. Notice how I just use a very small amount. I don't want to overwhelm. When you're working with your foods, you want lots of flavor, but you don't want one flavor to completely overwhelm the others. So we kind of keep it simple. I'm also going to put just a touch of basil in this in the same way. And if you were to, oh man, you smell this, it's like that fresh basil comes right out of the garden. You pick it, you get it on your fingers. This is just extraordinary. It's actually pressed with the olives. It's extraordinary. So I want some of my basil in my mixture. It's very simple. Now I'm going to use also a glaze. This isn't a reduction, it's a glaze. It's a balsamic glaze. And I'll be talking more later about some of these individual products and how unique they are. There's tremendous flavor. Starts with a grape and it's just full of flavor. I'm only going to use a little bit of this, but you can see this is very simple. I'm just going to squirt a little bit in. There you go. Very simple. Now I'm going to mix this up. This whole dish, you can do this whole dish maybe 5-10 minutes. You've got the whole thing done. It's really not complicated. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. And here I'm going to put on, I'm just going to put this on the toast, okay? And this is extraordinary. This is very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just putting it on my toast pieces. If you go to a restaurant and buy bruschetta, you're going to pay a fortune for this. And this is just some simple tomatoes. Roma tomatoes are the best because they got lots of flavor. And you can see here, I mean, this is simple. I'm not even spending a lot of time to make it all that fancy. I'm going to take a little bit more of my glaze and just do this on it to make it look like you spent $50 on the plate. And it's a simple trick. And you've got something that is incredible. This stuff really tastes good. Now, I tell you what, can I have, Chef Scotty, would you come over here? I know you haven't tried this particular one. Would you just take a piece of this and taste it?
I'm taking this one.
Take that one. Give it a taste.
It's got all the glaze on it.
Is that working?
My eyes are rolling in.
Yeah. Eat well, live well. You're going to love this.